All right, everyone, it's November 25th, 2013. I want to draw your attention to this article and one more. I know right now all our attention is on Comet Ison and on Barack H. Obama with his deal with Iran and how Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu he's not a happy camper. A lot of things are drawing our attention in one direction, but while we're all being focused on these areas, I want you to know what's taking place on the other side of the spectrum. Now, we talked about this the other night over at Tiny Chat, and I want to present this. I want to thank Brother Doug, who sends me this information. This came out 6 days ago, and it's from WorldNet Daily. And here's the headline, and there's more to this now. There's an update to this. So I want you to focus over here. Let's take our attention off of, just for a moment, off of Israel, Iran, off of Comet Ison, and I think you might want to look in this direction just for a moment. Here's the headline. I'm going to put the link to this article and one more below. This is what you may not know about. U.S. General, let's make Obama resign. Cites Nixon resignation, urges citizens to save the republic from Washington leadership. I won't read the entire article. I'm going to put both articles below for you in the show more section. That way you can educate yourself on what's going on here. Washington, a retired Army general, is calling for the forced resignations of President Obama, other administration officials, and the leadership of Congress for the direction they are taking the nation. His list of grievances include the systematic political purge of hundreds of senior military officers in the United States military, and we know what that is resulting from. These are the high-ranking senior military officers, but flat out, blatantly refuse to turn on the American people. So they're doing a weeding out process. It's kind of like Satan. He's weeding out. He's a copycat. He mimics everything that God and everything that Jesus does, and he is a copycat. Retired Major General Paul E. Valley told WorldNet Daily he is calling for nationwide rallies and protests to demand the resignations, and added that a peaceful civil uprising is still not out of question. In his capacity as chairman of the organization Stand Up America, Valley issued what he termed a national call to action to force the resignations of Obama, Vice President Joe Biden, Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, House Speaker John Bonner, and House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi. Valley, formerly the Deputy Commanding General of Pacific Command, said the current crop of leaders must be forced to resign by the demand resignation process, which he explained requires massive grassroots protests and social networking. As an example, he cited the public and media pressure that led to the resignation of President Richard Nixon. Impeachment, Valley said, is not a viable option because of partisan politics. Our federal government continues down the path of destroying America, he said. Americans must now stand up and put America back on the right track. In issuing his national call to action, Valley said the federal government has not subsided in sucking the oxygen out of America. I'm just going to read a little bit more, but I want you to on your own time, read both of these articles. And we call to action all branches of government to do your constitutional duties and not be led astray in the cultural and moral decay of America. We have witnessed far too many lies, he said, as well as deception and the corruption of the Republic. Valley reminds Americans that the Declaration of Independence itself states that whenever any form of government becomes destructive to these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem more likely to affect their safety and happiness. I'm just going to read one more piece here. Valley said the nation he long defended is self-destructing before our very eyes because of our inept and incompetent leadership in Washington. The battle is on, and we shall not retreat. There's more to this article. I'm going to put the link below. Now, this came out 6 days ago. Let me take you out to the latest. Here we go. Let me see if I can scroll up to the headlines. There is Barack Obama with his wink here. Now, this is an exclusive. U.S. generals now take action to watch Obama. And I'll just read a portion of this as well. It's coming out today. Washington. After one of them called for the forced resignations of President Obama and congressional leaders in response to multiple grievances, including the alleged political purge of hundreds of senior military officers, 2 retired U.S. generals are creating a citizens commission to scrutinize Obama administration actions on national security and economic issues. America's Provisional Leadership Council will look at major concerns as outlined by Army General Paul E. Vallée and Air Force Brigadier General Charles Jones in an 8-point paper titled The Americans Project. Vallée told WorldNet Daily he sees the Americans Project as a citizens commission of prominent Americans to provide advice to legislative and executive branches of government. America's leaders, he said, will be held to high standards of performance to solve the nation's problems of governing. We will scrutinize and provide guidance to federally elected officials on behalf of the citizens. The Americans Project, Vallée added, is a movement, not a new party necessarily. We want candidates to run as Americans first before being a Democrat, Republican, or Independent. Vallée, who today is chairman of the organization Stand Up America, served as the deputy commanding general of Pacific Command. Jones, who is a vice chairman of the Americans Project of Stand Up America, held numerous Air Force command positions, including a tactical fighter wing, a strategic airlift wing, and a special operations group. In calling for the forced resignations of Obama and the leadership of Congress, Vallée outlined suggestions for nationwide rallies and said a peaceful civil uprising is still not out of the question. The current crop of leaders, he said, must face a demand resignation process, which he explained requires massive grassroots protest and social networking, which he envisions can be undertaken through his organization. An example of a forced resignation, he said, was that of President Richard Nixon. Now, if you remember Richard Nixon, we got the NSA. You know, they are listening in on all of our phone calls. We've got drones in American skies. They're watching you right now on the internet. They're listening in on all of your conversations, your emails. And this is approved by Barack H. Obama. But Richard Nixon, during a Democratic campaign, he did a wiretap. He was just listening in. And all of his staff went to prison. He was on his way to prison. It was Gerald Ford that gave him the pardon. And he was impeached. He resigned before he went to prison with all of his staff. And nothing is being done here. Let me just continue on just for a moment. I want to make a long video. Workable solution. Vallée and Jones in their paper say the Americans' leadership has developed workable solutions to help solve and fix what has, without question, stunted our nation's ability to clearly, legally, and peacefully function as a constitutional republic. I'm going to put the links to these below. I'm doing this for a reason. I want you to keep track of the names of these gentlemen, Army General Paul E. Vallée and Brigadier General Charles Jones. uh, among others, who are putting this call to action for their safety. Because a lot of times when someone tries to step on the government's toes, they come up dead. Leave me comments, everyone.